My name is John Slade. That's JOHNSLADE. And my project here at the New Orleans Black Film Festival has been the Afro Brothers Spacemen in their movie entitled Day the Earth Stood Stupid.
Wonderful. Great. So now we get to begin in earnest. All right, John, first off, thank you for bringing your project here. This is a cool and unique experience to have at the Black Film Festival of New Orleans. So talk with me a little bit first about the origins of Afro Brothers Spacemen.
Okay, first I came up with the name. The name was like, the name just jumped out at me. But I used to do a poetry show with a young lady that was named Revelation. And she and I would put on poetry shows, and we would do them at the neighborhood gallery that was on Retha Castle Haley. And this was like 2005, and I wrote it in the spring of 2005. This is before the storm. The conceit was that being a spoken word CD, which we were trying to produce, a CD, what the conceit was that I would make this Afro Brothers Spaceman cartoon as an audio thing only. It would be as if a mythical Saturday morning cartoon was on. And the people who made it made merchandising, and the merchandising would be this record with your favorite Saturday morning TV characters, the Afro Brothers Spacemen, in your home, so you kids can listen anytime you want. So, in fact, when I was a kid, that's what Hanna-Barbera did. There were Yogi Bear records, Johnny Quest records, Flintstone records, so you could listen to the actors and stuff and enjoy the little songs they would sing. So that was the conceit. Well, the storm happened, that got forgotten. In 2007, at Ashe, they were having an event called the 24-Hour Comic Book Day, in which the idea is to make a 24-page comic book in 24 hours. That means an hour a page.
Wow.
Well, I said I have this script, so I'll see if I can do that. So what had happened was I managed at that event to put together 8 pages of cover. So that was 9 pieces of paper.
Okay.
I took half the time trying to figure out what they looked like. Okay? So I had no idea what they were going to look like. I didn't think about that because it's just going to be a voice thing, so I wasn't concerned about it. I knew what they might sound like and what they would be doing, but no, I had no idea. So it became a comic book. So in 2008, the fall of 2008, I got the comic book finished and started selling it. So I would sell it myself, each little issue.
How many pages was that first issue?
22.
Okay, that's a full on.
Art.
Cool.
22 pieces of art. That was the original comic book here. And if you look down here, you have a graphic of the cover of the first Afro Brothers Spaceman comic book. And it was entitled, even though it's not on the cover because it's the first issue, it was entitled The Boob Tube Attack.
The boob tube attack. Okay, so that sounds like television is coming to attack. Is that what's happening?
Well, I invented this character. Part of the conceit was that this was going to be kind of like a Rocky and Bullwinkle thing.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you remember Boris Badenoff and Natasha, in fact, if you ever saw the movie, the TV show The Americans, that was Boris and Natasha in real life. But I had they had these characters, and of course, fearless leader. So I came up with a terrorist type character called Osama Bin There Done That. And his conceit was he wants to bring down the infidels. However, he won't violate the Geneva rules of war to do it. So actually killing people, ordinary, can't do it. So his attacks are usually non-violent in nature. So what he might do is turn all the lights green on a major thoroughfare and create an 8-hour traffic jam in the middle of a large city.
Wow.
That's his idea of an attack, just to drive you crazy. You can't get home for dinner. You're stuck in your car, and nothing can be done.
That is evil.
That is his idea. In the comic book, he put nothing but rap videos from BET on all channels, except for Young and the Restless. He likes that.
This is a very specific kind of punishment that you made.
He gets annoyed if people say he sounds like Victor Newman. He says, no, Victor Newman sounds like me. So he sounds like Victor Newman, if you can imagine that, Afro Brothers Spacemen. I am here to destroy you. You will be completely wiped out, and I will win, even though it's legitimate for me to be able to kill you. You know, you sound like Victor Newman from Young and I do not sound like Victor Newman from Young and the Restless. You stop saying that, you know. So that's pretty much his whole thing. And he can't kill people, but under the rules of war, and there's a war on terror, if the military comes for him, he can legitimately stop them with some crazy comic book weapon.
Okay.
He can bring them to harm because that's legit. Because they're the Army, and Afro Brother Spacemen are part of the military-industrial complex.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they're a wing of the top secret part of the military-industrial complex, launched from a top secret launch facility on an HBCU campus, far, far, far below the Mason-Dixon line.
Wow.
Yes.
So you were already taking black characters into space situations like before this started to become, before the mainstream started to get a chance to see this getting cracked through.
I suppose it's Afrofuturism. I was doing this before I heard of it, but I didn't really connect it.
Yeah.
But they said, this is Afrofuturist. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. No problem. I accept that it's I love that term anyway, so I
Yes.
have no problem with it. And there are elements of it. They use technology. They have their own rocket ship. You know, they have cool government-funded space jobs.
Yeah.
But they have tremendous principles. You know, I did 6 comic books of these characters, 6 issues of the comic book over 10 years, 10-year time span. Let's see. I did that, and the movie that has been world premiered here at the New Orleans Black Film Festival, would have been the 7th comic book. And it is the first time that they meet extraterrestrials. So this is their first actually going into the furthest reaches of space to solve a problem.
So tell me this then, why did you decide to make the first film actually a brand new story as opposed to just taking your first one?
All the stories are mostly contained. They might refer back to incidences, but they're not totally critical that you know that.
Got it.
You know, so I, like they say in the trade, made a trade paperback.
Yes.
The collected known adventures of the Afro Brother Spacemen.
Great.
So they may have other ventures, but you don't know about them. And one of the rules of the Afro Brother Spacemen is that I have 3 of them. Okay. Darnell Darkstar is the captain. He's a big Boy Scout.
That's this guy right here,
yeah,
right? Okay.
With his little goatee. I gave him facial hair. You know, for some reason, not a mustache nor Zorro type thing, but no, just a little goatee underneath.
Yes.
A little thin thing of hair. And I've seen guys look like that in real life. So I've walked down the street. Oh, there goes Darnell.
It's a distinctive look.
Yes. And the 2 ladies are known. One of them is called Cosmos. She has the braids. So she's the smart sister. She's the Spock-like sister. And the other one is Denara Atomjack. Denara Atomjack. She's the rough one. She's ready to fight. She's ready to fight. She's got a bit of slight temper. Yes. Because they come from different aspects of the black community. He comes from the Huxtable. The captain is kind of like a Huxtable, lost Huxtable. Denara is like the intelligent little young lady you might see on Different World. She comes from a good family, all that stuff like that. And that would be Cosmos, the nice, smart girl. Denara comes from the ghetto. So she made her way into that, got into that, climbed up, and now she's in the cockpit of the Motherland One. Okay?
And that's what we're seeing right here, right? The Motherland One?
Yes. Now, that's an early version of it. I didn't color in the letters, but that's the basic color. Okay. You'll see a white cockpit, and then you see the African liberation colors of red, black, and green as a motif on the hull of the Motherland One.
It seems like everything is very intentional, and that...
Oh, this is the thing. Nothing is accidental. I come from people say, you put a lot of politics and say everything has politics in it. There is no innocent art. Nothing. Not even Sesame Street. If they have total intentions on what they're doing. That's why they made sure the street was integrated from the beginning. Everybody. John Wayne. It doesn't matter. Star Wars is very political.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yes. I just find it hilarious that they're all upset about The Last Jedi because they think it's too politically correct and all that. I say, come on, guys, you haven't been watching Star Wars. The villains have been 99.99999% white men. They all live on those space. You never see a black brother in a imperial uniform. Never, until Finn came out, and he was a stormtrooper, but he was not in command. Stormtroopers are not commander. Cannon fodder. So where you missing? You've been the bad guy for 40 years, and now you just upset because some woman told a white guy stand down? You're a nut. You blew up the wrong thing. You disobeyed orders. But it's hilarious. But the influences for the Afro Brothers Spacemen are gigantic. Cartoons, science fiction movies, TV shows, mostly during the time of my heyday. Naturally, Star Trek, Lost in Space, old 50s movies. That's why the spaceship that they use is traditional rocket. Simple style rocket from the 50s like you see from the old science fiction movies with fins and fire coming out the back and stuff like that. Okay? So it's like that. Now, of course, the Motherland One is capable of doing anything I need them to do ever. Like, shoot, there's a cyclotron on board. A cyclotron's gigantic, but it's one on board. They have an onboard cyclotron. They have a computer.
So when we see Afro Brothers Spacemen, when we see your film, when we go through your comic book, it sounds as though there's also like a little fun game that the reader, that the viewer gets a chance to play, which is to pick up on some of your references. Because some of them are probably like subtle and like Easter eggy in there.
Possibly. Like in the comic book, I riff completely on 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
Just totally go berserk on it.
Yeah.
Now, they're talking about something else, but I'm basically borrowing the idea from 2001.
Clever.
As to what the old aliens do. So we have old aliens and a lot of New Orleans slang to describe them.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Like, for instance, the ancient aliens that you might have thought about on, say, Babylon 5, the old gods aliens, you know, the Watchers and all that. Well, I came up with the cosmic door popper, which is a phrase in New Orleans for ladies who are always looking around to see what's going on in the neighborhood. They call them door poppers. So I just borrowed that.
The cosmic door popper.
Yes, the alien has an emissary, okay, a la Silver Surfer, a la Spy Boy for the Mardi Gras Indian chief that's coming. So I created an espionage lad.
Wow.
Also known as the space hipster.
Oh,
so
man.
he's the first to come and tell us something's about to go down.
This is great. This is all also like a fantastic teaser for everyone who's watching.
Yes.
So like you can, I mean, this is just a sample of what John has hidden inside. So John, to close things out, give us one pro tip. Give us one thing that you experienced, because you had quite the journey. You said it was from 2005 all the way through to now with the very first Afro Brothers Spacemen
Well, I've been
coming.
a professional political cartoonist for decades. Okay, I published a book in 1995 called "But I Am to a Black Cartoonist Really," and so I've had this in me for a long time. Plus, you know, and I sell my political cartoons as fine art as well. And you can see me, if y'all want to look around, on think504.com. 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 If you want to see some of my latest work. Also, I'm on Instagram. You can't miss me. Just look for Slade, S-L-A-D-E, and look for the cartoon face of Darnell-Darkstar. You can't miss it. That's me. Boom, you hit it right there. I'm also on Facebook. So, I've been influenced by everything. And that's another thing. Pro tip, don't be ashamed to be influenced. You are. Pay no attention to anyone that says, I don't want to read and see anything because I'm afraid I'll be influenced. I want to be totally original. You're not going to be totally original. People will tear your stuff apart and say, this is from that. Then you didn't read it.
Right. You had no knowledge of it.
It's too late for Woody Allen to say he doesn't look at stuff because he doesn't want. It's silly. You work for Mel Brooks. You work for Sid Caesar with Mel Brooks in the 1950s. They were riffing on Marx Brothers. It's too late. That's why all your early films were comical, funny, slapstick almost, blackouts. You know. So That's my pro tip.
I love that.
Don't be afraid. You will be influenced. Go with it.
Yes.
Okay? Take an idea and go with it.
And you know what's so wonderful about that? I think one reason why that's a perfect way for us to end this is because that's exactly what's happening here at the Black Film Festival of New Orleans. Artists are coming, people who aren't artists but also just like artists, but also, yes, people who do have creative ideas, people who are working on projects, and they're here. We're all here because we're not afraid to see and to respect and to be enlightened by other people and their perspectives.
There's not a thing you're doing
great.
that hasn't been done before. The question is, how will you do it?
How will you do it?
Yes.
So we leave you with that charge. How will you do it? The answer is you've done it very well. So thank you so much, John.
You're welcome.
And thank you.
Good to be here on the set.
Yes. And so we've got even more coming up for you here at BFFNO TV.